My name is Will Fendon, and this is Live, Love Lake Oswego, the first real estate channel solely dedicated to all things Lake Oswego. For almost 20 years, I've been a top producing local realtor in Lake Oswego. And if you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation about real estate here, please feel free to call or text me directly at the number on screen. But right now, we're going to spotlight an incredible neighborhood. It's called the Evergreen neighborhood. Okay, before we go any further, I want to mention that we made another neighborhood tour video about the North Shore Country Club neighborhood, which is literally right next door to where we're standing here. If you haven't seen it, you can find that elsewhere on our channel. Evergreen and North Shore Country Club are so close together, they almost feel like the same neighborhood, but there are some key differences.
The Evergreen neighborhood is also a great walking neighborhood. I love to walk, so I want to share with you some of my favorite streets in this neighborhood. I'm walking on Evergreen Road. This is one of the main streets that goes through this neighborhood, and it's beautiful. Well, here's a really fun fact. This is actually where the finish line is for the Lake Run. This is an annual event that Lake Oswego does in May where you can either walk or run, and it's really fun. I finished, and that was so much fun. Yay! Evergreen Road ends here in the heart of Lake Oswego. This is called Millennium Plaza. This is where farmers market is, summer concerts, movies in the park, and countless other events. It's awesome. And now I've made my way over to Berwick Road. This is one of the most beautiful streets in this neighborhood. If you're an avid walker like me, you might want to try and walk down Berwick Road to Iron Mountain Boulevard, over to Atwater, which is right outside of this neighborhood. And there's an entrance to Tryon Creek State Park there, where there are a ton of great hiking trails. This is another great place to walk, Cabana Lane, and these darling homes are right on the lake.
So let's talk about what types of homes can you find in the Evergreen neighborhood. As a longtime realtor in Lake Oswego, I get this question a lot. Where Jane was walking, for example, on Cabana Lane, all of those homes front to Lakewood Bay. Now, I've often heard people refer to those homes as floating homes, but they're not. They're actually on foundations, fixed girders and pylons of some sort. You can see that when they drain the lake periodically for maintenance. But elsewhere in the neighborhood, as you look around, you can see the history of the town reflected in the architecture of the homes, dating all the way back to the inception of this town. There are still beautiful historical homes that have remained for nearly 100 years, but you've also got a lot of other home styles. Many of them now have been remodeled extensively, where builders can find homes and they can tear them down and build new homes. Increasingly, there has been infill building happening in the Evergreen neighborhood, and you've still got a handful of grand estate caliber homes that have a kind of period elegance about them. So it's an incredible variety of architecture. If you'd ever like to know more about that, please feel free to reach out to me at the number on the screen below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it and provide any information that I can if that's of interest. So here's an example of what I'm talking about when it comes to new construction. I'm standing in front of a site here on Ellis Avenue where a builder has gotten a lot here. They've removed an older home. I suspect they're either building a custom home for a client that they probably had who was scouring the area trying to find a site, or if they're building a spec home, the price for this spec home when it's complete will be very high because the cost of acquisition is so high. There aren't many lots around Lake Oswego, so there's incredible competition for good ones. I see this happening all over town now, even in the older, most established neighborhoods. When builders can get homes for the right price and remove them, they're building big, beautiful new homes because there is such a strong demand for new construction. In comparison to some of the other neighborhoods in Lake Oswego, the Evergreen neighborhood has a bit more variety of housing types. These apartments, for example, are located at the corner of 3rd Street and Evergreen Road. These are the Windward apartments. They're much newer. Oswego Village townhomes have their own unique charm and elegance. And these townhomes are in a very safe location right across the street from the new City Hall and police station. When it comes to lot sizes in the Evergreen neighborhood, they vary from about 7,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet. Now, you might find a few exceptions for larger estate-style homes, but typically 7 to 15,000 square feet is the average. Okay, we are reunited once again. So in all of our neighborhood tour videos, we always like to take a moment to try and convey what a day in the life might be like if you actually lived in this neighborhood. So in this case, the Evergreen neighborhood. Now, Jane has made it abundantly clear, this is an incredible walking neighborhood, yes, just like North Shore and Country Club right next door. In fact, this is still a place where families can actually walk to school. Some families walk their kids to the local elementary school here, which is called Forest Hills. Forest Hills feeds to Lake Oswego Junior High School, which then feeds to Lake Oswego High School.
Those are all public school options, but there's another option, a private school option, which is Our Lady of the Lake, which is kindergarten through 8th grade. Another great school that you can walk to.
And you know, even though many of these homes are nowhere near the lake standing here, the ones that are not on the waterfront, in many cases actually have deeded access privileges to a boat easement called the Lakewood Bay Community Club. It's an incredible place to get on the water. They've got boat slips there, great decks for picnicking and swimming. They've got a diving board. It's actually one of the cooler boat easements on the lake.
And you can find just about anything you need in downtown Lake Oswego. Great restaurants, Tucci, Five Spice Seafood, Holy Taco, Domaine Serene, St. Honore, Chucky Pizza.
It's a new tap house that just opened up that looks really cool. And there's good shopping. There's a great Safeway. There's a great Rite Aid, Whole Foods, and not too far away, there's a New Seasons Market that opened up recently that's pretty amazing.
And don't forget about the best ice cream at Salt and Straw.
I've never been there. I think we know that's a lie. But for people who commute to work, it's also relatively easy to get anywhere you might need to get to from the Evergreen neighborhood. Easy to get to I-5 and the 217 to go out to places like Nike and Intel or other companies that make up what's called the Silicon Forest between Beaverton and Hillsborough. Going the other way from Lake Oswego, State Street, when you're heading toward downtown Portland, turns into Macadam Boulevard. That's a pretty straight shot to get to places like OHSU or downtown Portland. Easy to hop on I-84 East, takes you right out to the Portland International Airport. So the Evergreen neighborhood is just a great place to live. And yet, everything the Pacific Northwest has to offer is within reach. This is one of our favorite places for a family day trip, Cannon Beach. The Oregon wine country is world-renowned for its Pinot Noir, and there are vineyards everywhere. Take I-84 East from downtown Portland straight into the Columbia River Gorge and the Mount Hood Recreation Area beyond that. Okay, there you have it. That's the end of our Evergreen neighborhood tour. Thanks for watching Live, Love Lake Oswego, the first real estate channel solely dedicated to all things Lake Oswego. If you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation about buying or selling real estate here, please feel free to call or text me directly at the number on screen. Or if you'd just like to see more content about this amazing place that we call home, please consider subscribing.